Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Tafara, and on this channel we talk about opportunities in education, scholarships and personal growth. And today I am back again with something that is not scholarship related, but it is something that would help each one person to make the right call in this last few days of the quarter. So today I'll be talking about diving into one of the most important topics for anyone looking for work abroad or looking for working for international companies. To other people, this might seem like something that is very easy. You just go on the internet, look for different companies that are hiring. But today I'm going to be talking about a special kind of recruitment process. I know that not all of us are able to fund our visa processes. So everyone is looking for a job in a company that allows them to sponsor their journey to relocation. So I know that in the streets, everyone has been talking about sponsorship. Oh, I got a job and they sponsored me to travel from Zimbabwe to UK, or I got a job and they sponsored me to travel from Canada to America or something like that. And looking for sponsorship jobs is not something that is very easy. So today I want us to dive into the topic and look at how you can make the process much more easier, because I know that looking for sponsorship can actually be overwhelming. So I would like to us to talk about how to increase your chances of landing an opportunity in your dream country. So when it comes to visa sponsorship, it all starts with identifying the countries that are offering jobs with sponsorship. The era that we came from, the UK, was recruiting people and providing sponsorship for a lot of people, and that wave is kind of starting to die down as the UK is putting different immigration laws with regards to employing health workers from abroad and all of that stuff. But yeah, that very same process that the other people were able to come to the UK did is what we are talking about. So it doesn't have to be healthcare only. It's any dream job that you have. If you know the right ways of searching the internet and looking at different websites, you might be able to land a job that actually has sponsorship for you. So the first thing, as I said, is to look for the countries that are offering sponsorship. So the first thing is to identify the different destinations that are giving you a sponsorship. It all starts down by identifying the countries that have actually visa sponsorship structures within them. We have countries like the USA. They offer the H1B, O1 or L1 visas, and then the UK has the skilled work visa, which I talked about just recently, whereby they were bringing in health workers from different parts of the continent to come and work for them. And then in Canada, we have what they call the LIMIA approved work permits, and Australia also has its employer sponsored visas, and Germany within the EU has a blue card system that they started for skilled professionals. So focusing on the different countries that have actually running visa sponsorship structures actually helps you to narrow down where you would end up landing. So once you have chosen a destination, it's time to tap into the right job markets. So instead of like just roaming around on the internet and you're not like really looking at what you're not like narrowing down to what you're looking for, then you would have to use platforms like Glassdoor, like LinkedIn, like Indeed. And not just to use those platforms only, you need to have a technique on how to search for the different jobs that you can actually apply for. So you need to try combining words like visa sponsorship within your industry. If you're looking to be sponsored as an accountant, you have to search for accounting positions and also include the visa sponsorship flag. That will help you see the different jobs that have sponsorship within the certain country that you would have done. So it's not all about just going on the internet and just typing accountant visa sponsorship. There are a lot of websites out there. Many people, with the advancement of technology, everyone can create a website and everyone can bring just some things to the website. Even sometimes when they are not legit, there are a lot of fake websites that are out there that are just there to dupe people out of their monies, to dupe desperate people who really want to relocate. But if you really go to, those websites that are well known, Glassdoor, Indeed, LinkedIn, and all of that, you're actually trying to lower down, the chances of you being scammed by, a false sponsorship and all of that. So, yeah, I would encourage you to use these platforms and also ensure that you put the correct, keywords in between. So, once you put the correct keywords, job that actually, really resonates with what you want, because some of them really provide sponsorship, but when you get there, there are a lot of rules within that sponsorship. You might not be able to quickly change to other things. So you really need to check out what are the things that they are offering you. Some offer full sponsorship, some offer half of the sponsorship. So it would really be good if you could really look at the information and see what works for you. So to the people who are in IT, or to my tech girlies and my tech guys, you can actually also, instead of just using LinkedIn, Glassdoor, Indeed, and all of that, you can actually check the multinational companies that are there, like Google, like Amazon, like Microsoft, Facebook, some other healthcare institutions like like NHS in the UK. Instead of just searching for the specific job on Indeed or LinkedIn or Glassdoor, what you can actually do is that you can go onto the website of these multinational companies. Normally, they have a section where they post jobs and they also describe if it's going to be sponsored or not. So this is one way that I've seen that it actually, points you to legit job postings if you go directly on the company website. And most of these companies that I've stated, they actually are known for their history of sponsoring work visas if you really need to be on site. If you don't need to be on site, these companies are also good if you really want to work remote and, for an international company when you're back home, earning in foreign currency when you're back home. These companies are also good. Upcoming graduate or someone who doesn't have, like, who is just a recent graduate who hasn't that much work experience. Also, these websites that I have cited down really give opportunities to upcoming students whereby they can offer you internships. So instead of just waiting for like a full-time job and all of that, you can actually explore the different internships that these multinational companies offer. So I would really like to, point out that instead of waiting for scholarship, trying to come through school, you can actually look at these different, areas and see if you can get a job sponsorship. So for countries like Germany, Germany recently published that they will be giving an opportunity card for 1 year where you can actually relocate and look for a job. If you have the money to show in your blocked account, you can actually for the opportunity card. Now let's look at what you really need to put in place. The other thing is that when companies are offering sponsorship, they actually require the things that they require from you if they are offering you sponsorship are actually much more higher. So you need to ensure that your CV is well polished, because if they are going to sponsor you to come from Zimbabwe to the UK or from Zimbabwe to Canada or Australia, you need to be like the top super high talent. They are looking at top talents here, because most of the government job boards really question companies when they are hiring from outside the country, that what is it that you have seen in Tafara that you haven't seen in another person who is already here in Canada. So your CV has to be well polished. You really have to know like your things. So ensure that when you're looking for a visa sponsored job, don't just write your CV J. Don't just write it like, don't just write it in a way that is boring. if I am to say so. Ensure that if you are someone who's looking for a sponsored internship, right? If you don't have work experience, turn the courses that you did in your bachelor's or in your diploma or in your certificate into skills that they would really like look at it like, oh yeah, I think we can actually, sponsor Tafara to come from Zimbabwe to, to do her internship in Canada. And most of these internship roles really lead to positions whereby, you are sponsored to really stay for permanent jobs or contract based jobs. So don't joke around your CVs, don't joke around your documents. And some of them really require you to have critical skills and certifications. I know for engineers they have to write some exams, and for an example is the skilled worker healthcare that was being done in the UK. They needed you to have your English proficiency, needed you to do some care work certificates that they needed you to do. So as you can see, they were trying to sift the people that they would bring, the companies are trying to sift the people that they would sponsor from outside. So what am I saying? Ensure that if you're an engineer or if you're an accountant, you have the right certifications. So it's not all about just, oh, I found a job, that I found a company that sponsors people, and then you just, hand in your CV without doing the different critical skills or the different certifications that they need you to do. So what am I saying? When you're looking for sponsored jobs from abroad, ensure that your CV is spick and span. Ensure that you take time to do some online certifications that makes you stand out from the other, candidates. And then another thing is that you need to tailor make your resume to match the job description. This is one thing that I think that really needs to be talked about. Sometimes we just dump all of our experiences into the CV, and most of these big companies, they recruit, they actually employ recruiters, and some of them even employ AI recruiters whereby they sift your application before it even gets to the person who's going to look at it. A whole human being was going to look at it, and that AI that has got, yes, things already fed into it. So if you miss one criteria, boom, you are rejected just like that. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that ensure that you match your CV to the job description. Some of those things that are not really necessary, don't put them, because when you put them, it overcrowds, the system and all of that. And probably those are the things. Sometimes those are the things that we really focus on when doing our CV. Yet when the recruiter sees them, they're like, and then they move on to the next person. So what am I saying? I'm saying that each time you apply for a job, just tailor make your CV to fit the descriptions that they said on the job listing. Otherwise, you won't even make it out of the AI system. You'd have been rejected already. And then the other thing is that you need to put motivation statement that shows your willingness to relocate and why you are the ideal candidate. I think from the little experience I've had to work when I was back in Zimbabwe was that I've seen that not everyone you see on the top is, really the top soup. You need to be able to sell yourself, to market yourself. So this starts by making a good CV and also making a good impression why they should hire you over, person B. And then the other thing is that you need to have a good networking. It's a powerful tool for your job search. If we are to sit down with most people that managed to relocate for sponsorship, yes, they were putting in their, job applications and all of that, but most of them would have been scouted even just from LinkedIn, or they've been recommended by someone, or maybe their reputation speaks for themselves. Like on the internet, their reputation speaks for themselves. It is important that you network with other people, and most of these, job search, if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, I know there's been, conversations on the internet that LinkedIn is for, those, people who are really aspiring and all of that. But I've seen the importance of having a network. Most of the job postings that I've, forwarded to my friends, that have been forwarded to me, have been through their networks, because an example, I will talk about academics because I'm in academia, but an example is like a professor who's looking for a new PhD student. Before it's even posted on the company's website or on the lab's website, the professor will just come to LinkedIn. My lab is hiring. I'm looking for a PhD student who is strong in this and this and this and this. And before you know it, right? People are already, reposting that thing to ensure that the people in their network can actually see that job posting, and then they apply. And you see, that's a starting point. So I really didn't want to talk about this, job visa sponsorship search without talking about the importance of networking, because it is really an integral part of this hiring, process. And also, if you're finding it difficult to land a full-time role right away, as I said, consider applying for internships. Sometimes we really want to start from the top, right? I understand, but sometimes you have to work your way up. If you are not finding a full-time job or a full sponsored job, please try internships. Most companies sponsor interns to come. It might be a 3 month internship, it might be a 6 month internship, it might be longer, like 1 year, but please try it out. I know most people really look down upon it like, oh, I really want a full time job, I really want this salary. But there are a lot of people who started as interns, and soon after they finished their internship, you know, they were taken up by the companies. I would really like to encourage you to be incumbents in different companies. Before they look outside, they look at the people that they have worked with before. Oh, we had an intern called Tafara before, and she was really performing very well. Why don't we consider her for this role? And then boom, you are in. Please, I would encourage you to consider internships. Before I wrap up this video, I really want to talk about how persistence is key. This whole process, the amount of rejection letters that you get should not deter you from the goal of continuing to apply and continuing to apply. Honestly, I always tell people that the more you increase your applications, the more are your chances, or the more nearer you are to your dream job. So I know that most people probably would have tried it and they're like, we have applied for different sponsorship jobs, we did not get them. I would like to encourage you to keep applying, because if you stop applying, the dream stops then day, honestly. So you need to keep applying. And all the sponsorships are very competitive. I think I've mentioned this when we started, that they are very, very competitive. So you need to have much more persistence, and you need to be patient with yourself, and you need to be able to improve yourself daily. So keep your application materials sharp, keep them up to date. Always stay informed about any changes in the immigration laws and visa regulations. Why am I saying this? Like recently, I was helping one lady who was really, asking me to help her with, polishing up her application for sponsorship to the UK. And then I got to ask her, like, she had sent me an email. So before I helped her, I asked her, do you know the new immigration laws that are actually being put in place in the UK now? You know that they have stopped, they'll be stopping to recruit people outside the UK. And we started talking about different other options that she could look at, and also, continue with her dream of, working abroad or studying abroad. So please keep up to date with the immigration laws. Always check your CV. These certifications, this era that we are in, whereby technology is always advancing and advancing, more is also being required from us, and more is also being required from people who really want to, make it out there. So always check that your application is up to date. Always check that the immigration laws are up to date with in your mind as well, so that you are not disappointed when you go through a process and then you hear, no, things changed, we can't take you, and all of that stuff. And also, as I always say, this was more like diverting from what we talk about on our channel. But if you I always tell people that I know that you really don't want to go back to school, and you really want to work and start improving your life and all of that. But if there is one way that I found that is much more easier to relocate abroad, it's through study. If you come to school, um most probably most countries that I know in the EU can give you post-study visa where you can look for a job. If you're coming to school, it's straightforward. You apply for your admission, you get it. If you apply for a scholarship, you get it, and then you go to the visas, you get your visa, and then you have actually relocated. So you can actually look at that. Or if you're done with school, you can look at exchange programs. There are quite a lot of exchange programs that are going on, around the world, whereby you can come for 3 months, work in a lab, or come for 3 months, be incubated in a company. And most of the people that I've seen that have gone through those exchange programs, or all of those programs that allow you to come and go back, most of the times they make it back, they get jobs with the company because of the networks that they would have built. So with all of that, all of those options that I've given you that you can explore, you can actually get sponsorship later, because sometimes the person you have known for 3 months is much more better than someone whom you haven't seen. Like, are you going to work well together? How is your chemistry when working, and all of that? So most companies would prefer people that they've once had an encounter with. Hope that you have benefited from this, whereby you know how to really search for a job visa sponsorship, whereby you also really know what keywords you need to use for you to actually look for a job sponsored post. And then I talked about having the different critical skills that they want, having the different certifications that they want. That really helps you land your dream job. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope that you have learned quite a lot of things from this video. Bye guys, I hope you enjoyed. See you in the next video.